Subordinate courts. Now, below the high courts are the subordinate courts that administer justice in criminal and civil cases at district level. That is, at district level, there are subordinate courts which administer justice, and they are below the high courts. There are three types of subordinate or lower courts: civil courts, criminal courts, and revenue courts. The judges of subordinate courts are appointed by the governor in consultation with the Chief Justice of the High Court of the state. So, who appoints the judges of the subordinate courts? That it is the governor who consults the Chief Justice of the High Court and then appoints the judges. Next, Panchayat courts or Nyay Panchayats. So, as we know that Panchayat courts or Nyay Panchayats are there, they work at the village level. So, Nyay Panchayat is a system of dispute resolution at the village level. So, the court functions on the broad principles of natural justice and keeps its procedures simple with very little bureaucracy. That is, very little bureaucracy is there, that very little or very less amount of body of governments are there. That is, any person belonging to any government is there who takes part in the Nyay Panchayats. So there is one Nyay Panchayat for every 3 or 4 villages. Each village panchayat elects a member to the Nyay Panchayat. The Nyay Panchayat is headed by a sarpanch and hears minor civil and criminal cases. So what is given? That there is one Nyay Panchayat for every 3 or 4 villages. Each village panchayat elects a member to the Nyay Panchayat. That is, each village elects one member from there who is member of Nyay Panchayat, and the Nyay Panchayat is headed by a sarpanch and hears minor civil and criminal cases. That is, the minor civil and criminal cases which come in to light there in the villages. So that is looked by, or that is resolved by the Panchayat courts or the Nyay Panchayats. Now, major advantages of Nyay Panchayats are: first, they can settle large number of cases and thus relieve the burden on regular courts. Then second, they settle cases through peaceful conciliation, and there is speedy and economical disposal of cases, and the decision arrived at in the Nyay courts can be challenged in the higher courts. So these are the benefits, we can say, of the Nyay Panchayats. Next is Lok Adalat. That Lok Adalats are people's court with the purpose of administering speedy and inexpensive justice. So, Lok Adalats are people's courts with the purpose of administering speedy and inexpensive justice. That is, in this, when people go to Lok Adalats, they don't have to spend lot of money in coming out of the cases. Salient features of Lok Adalats are: first, Lok Adalats have been given statutory status under the Legal Services Authorities Act 1987. The second, no court fee is payable. They are usually presided over by a retired judicial officer as the chairman, with 2 other members, usually a lawyer and a social worker. Next, no lawyers are required. In case of Lok Adalats, disputing parties can present their cases themselves. Next, they decide on cases related to money claims, partition suits and damages, and matrimonial cases. They provide affordable and speedy settlement of disputes. So these are the salient features of Lok Adalats. Next is legal and scheme. The legal aid scheme was formed. The legal aid scheme was formed under the Legal Services Authorities Act 1987 to provide free and competent legal service to the poorer and weaker section of the society. So, legal aid scheme was formed under the Legal Services Authorities Act 1987. And why it was formed, what was the main objective of this scheme? That its scheme was to provide free and competent legal service to the poorer and weaker section of the society. It is essential for the rich and the poor to have equal and just access to the law. Hence, it is vital to provide adequate legal advice and representation to all those who are not able to pay for it. Okay, so we can say in short that legal aid scheme was formed for the poor and the weaker section of the society who cannot afford to pay money for their cases. Okay, next, the following groups of people are entitled to receive free legal aid under the Legal Services Authorities Act 1987. So that is, who are the people who can take benefit of this scheme? First is people belonging to backward classes like scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. Then second, victims of human trafficking or beggars. Next, women and children. Next, people with special needs, victims of mass disasters, violence and natural calamities. And last, people with an income lower than a particular amount as decided by the government. Okay, so these are the people who can take advantage, or they are entitled to receive free legal aid under the Legal Services Authorities Act 1987. Now, after this, we can see in short the chapter has been summarized, that the highest rank of the court goes to Supreme Court, and then under Supreme Court there are high courts, and under the high courts there are subordinate courts. Okay, so the highest rank, judicial rank, is to Supreme Courts, and Supreme Court look into the matter of state level also and central level as well. And high courts are there to take the judicial matters of the state level, and subordinate courts which are there, they are of the district level.